Right, so for today's video, we actually have an update on a previous video I uploaded about 6 months ago, and I genuinely thought we were never going to touch this subject again. It's came back up. It was one of them situations that we spoke about, and I just thought, you know what, it's going to get better, right? The public backlash is massive. We're talking about a big company here. After seeing all this backlash, surely they're going to solve it, right? It was actually massive at the time. Turns out, it seems like they haven't. In fact, things have got a lot worse. But also, before we do get any further, do just want to say, obviously, uploads haven't been that frequent recently. I've just been ill, and it's been going on for a little bit longer than I thought it was going to, but we're back to normal now, okay? Everything is a-okay, so we're back to uploading pretty much daily. But back to the topic of today's video. You might remember, if you've been around for about 6 months, that I uploaded a video talking about this company right here called Francescas. If we take a look at their Instagram page, first of all, you can see it's a big Instagram page, right? 500,000 followers, and they sell clothing. From what I can tell, I believe this store is only in the US. We definitely don't have any in the UK, I'm pretty sure, but there's a lot of locations in the US, right? If we look at this map here, it says it's 454 locations. It's a pretty big company. And in fact, about a decade ago, this company was worth over $1 billion, and only just a couple years ago, it was worth over $500 million. So even though there's clearly a big drop off there in the last decade, right? Still a massive company. Which is one of the reasons why this was such a shocking thing when it came out about 6 months ago. If you remember, a bunch of TikTokers started making videos talking about how they hadn't been paid by Francescas.
As of today, Francescas owes my small business $132,461.92.
$132,000. Can you imagine that as a small business owner? Like, that is a ridiculous amount of money. And unfortunately, this isn't the only person that was affected by this. So this is a video uploaded by a TikToker called Mugsby, and they go on to talk about their relationship with Francescas. And it's the same type of relationship that a lot of these TikTokers talk about, right? So these vendors make products that Francescas will want to sell. So they'll buy a lot of these products in bulk to sell at their stores. The only problem being here, as you can probably guess, they're not paying these people. They're taking these massive bulk orders, selling them on for profit, and then not paying the vendors. And this video was actually uploaded in June, but Mugsby says that this has been going on since November last year.
They stopped paying us in November. We've been working with them for about a year. They stopped paying us in November, which is the oldest purchase order that they owe us for, and we have 5 other purchase orders since then that total that amount.
Now, if you've seen my last video on this situation, you might remember that a lot of people were saying like, oh, why did you keep selling to them or like working with them if they hadn't paid you? The reason for this is because contracts and stuff like this, they don't pay straight away, right? There's usually like a 30-day period, like net 30, we'll pay you after 30 days after receiving the products, maybe net 60. It was net 30 in this case, it ended up getting changed to net 60, I believe it ended up getting changed to net 90, and then eventually obviously people just didn't get paid at all. So it really did come across like Francescas was just finding these new vendors, working with them as much as they possibly can very quickly, so then when it gets to like the net 30 or net 60 and they're not going to be paid, obviously they're no longer going to be working together, but they've got enough orders out of them. And Mugsby even goes on to explain like how hard this is for a small business to go through something like this.
Because it is hard on small business owners to be able to sometimes make payroll, to bring in new products to sell when you are out money that you are expecting. Summer is notoriously slow for a lot of small business owners, us included. And we rely on money that we're owed to be able to cover those types of, costs.
Yeah, I mean, of course, and it's not a small amount either, right? $132,000, that could have such a negative effect on a company. And like I said before, this was not the only video that came out about this. There was plenty of other videos like this one from Yes Cocktail Co., who came out and said that they were owed as well, a small business of just 4 people.
A bit about us, we are a small team of 4 people, including myself and my husband, the co-founder.
And Yes Cocktail Co. go on to say that they fulfilled an order for Francescas and are owed $14,000 and haven't been paid.
And recently, we went against our better judgment and fulfilled an order for a big box retailer, Francescas. And now we're in a position where they are not only not paying their invoices, but we have no point of contact at all. We call almost daily and no one answers. We get form response emails back. And at this point they owe right around $14,000 over the course of several invoices.
And like I keep saying, there was multiple videos, right? I remember at the time I was just scrolling my like For You page, and a new person would keep popping up who's saying that like Francesca's owes some money. I mean, if we just look at the comments on this video from June, right? We've got a comment here saying the 5th video, wow. Another one here saying this is the 6th video I've seen on my For You page. I've never shopped at Francesca's. Like I said, they just kept popping up. And then we ended up getting a video from a TikToker called Tiffany Chansey, who went into a lot of the details of why this might be happening and a lot of the numbers. So she starts off this video by talking about how well Francesca's used to do and how it went wrong over time.
10 years ago, Francescas was valued at more than $1 billion, traded on the NASDAQ and doing well. Unfortunately, they did what every company does in chasing that big capitalist pie in the sky. They expanded too fast, took on too much debt, over-leveraged themselves, and ended up with debt in the realm of about $100 million.
And then because of Francesca's wrongdoings, how they kind of affected the company financially, they end up taking a massive loan. They got approval to sell to a private equity firm that didn't have a good reputation at all.
It was during the bankruptcy process that they secured a $25 million loan from Tiger Finance, which is a private equity-owned finance company, and then in January of 2021 got approval to sell to Terramar Capital. Now, Terramar Capital is like a nothing burger of a private equity firm. They hadn't bought very much, and one of the businesses they bought had already gone belly up. But hey, the finance bros, and they just decided they could handle this.
And just to put in a context of how bad of a situation Francesca's was in, this company that was once worth over $1 billion sold to this private equity firm for $18 million. Obviously a lot of money, but nowhere near what the company used to be worth. And then of course this private equity firm took over, who didn't have the best reputation. I guess they tried with the company, try and bring it back to success. They sold like a ridiculous amount of stores, then said that they're going to set up a new plan where they're going to reopen a bunch of stores. A lot of people thought they were just doing this to get the value of the company higher so they could take on more debt. And it just hasn't went well, right? And Tiffany Chansey even goes into details to show just how late a lot of these payments have been to vendors.
It said that from December of 2023, they were making only 15% of their payments late, but by January, 66.4% of their payments were over 30 days late. And come a month later, we moved to the 31 to 60 day late category, where from January 2024 at 2.4% being 30 days or more late, we went to 60% of all of their bills being more than 30 to 60 days late.
So as you just heard, it got to a point where more than 60% of their payments were between 31 and 60 days late. And then she goes on to say that 13% of the payments were over 90 days late. This is a video from June. I don't know the updated numbers. It might have got a lot worse. But before we get into the new details about how some stuff has actually got worse, it did seem like things were starting to look up a little bit because this situation had like gone so viral. A lot of people talking about this. Francesca's obviously getting a really bad backlash. It seemed like they started paying people, right? Like one TikToker here called Sammy Gorin. I can't find her original video on this situation. It's been deleted. But she did end up uploading another video saying that the situation has now been solved.
I also wanted to let you know that the issue has now been resolved. I spoke with the CEO of Francescas earlier this week. He apologized. Not really able to share any more than that. But because I have resolved the issue, I have taken my video down.
So yeah, it seemed like they saw the public backlash and like, right, we really need to sort this. Let's pay people what they're worth. And hopefully that would have been the end of the situation, right? Well, apparently not, because just 20 hours ago as I'm recording this video right now, a TikTok account called Shop.trimmings has uploaded a video with over 1.5 million views where you can clearly see the caption on the screen says, Francescas owes me $67,000. And she starts off this video by saying that she has her own wholesale store and she wants to warn other businesses if they're thinking about working with Francescas.
Hi everyone, my name is Nicole and I run a wholesale shop called Trimmings where I sell small items like stickers, greeting cards, and keychains. I'm making this video as a PSA of sorts to any other small businesses who are considering working with the retail chain Francescas.
And then goes on to say that she is owed this $67,000 from an order that was made at the end of March and delivered in April.
Francescas currently owes me $67,000. This amount is all from one single purchase order that I received at the end of March and shipped at the beginning of April. So they should have received the shipments around the 2nd or 3rd week of April.
And as you can imagine, with an order this massive, you would be nervous, right? She even goes on to say that she had to send over $20,000 worth of inventory to Francescas without receiving a payment for 60 days. And Shop Trimmings, I wish I could refer to her as like an actual name, but all we have here is Shop Trimmings. So Shop Trimmings even goes on to say that she reached out to Francescas originally and said, can we have some like upfront payment? Like, can that be worked into the deal? And they basically just refused.
How large this order was, considering inventory alone would cost me almost $20,000, and a majority of the day-to-day orders I get, for comparison, are like $200. So because of this, I asked for a good faith payment up front, or if they could cover a percentage of the cost. And they basically just said, no, they don't ever do that. They won't pay until 60 days after they receive the shipments, and I just had to trust them.
So if we do the maths here, right, from everything that we've heard in this video, Francescas seem to have received the items at the beginning of April. Obviously, 60 days later, Shop Trimmings should have been paid. That means it should have been about the beginning of June that she should have got paid, and didn't. Now, the beginning of June is when a lot of these videos started coming out, so you can imagine that Shop Trimmings was seeing these videos thinking, oh god, this is not good. That's not going to like fill anyone with faith, is it? So as you can imagine, in a situation like this, Shop Trimmings is emailing Francescas multiple times over. She says she emailed multiple team members over 20 times. She would receive like a vague answer at the beginning, and then just end up getting ignored.
Since then, having not received any payment, I have emailed multiple members of the Francescas team over 20 times with detailed invoices asking for payment. At the beginning, they would respond, but with very vague excuses as to why they hadn't paid me yet. And then eventually they just stopped answering altogether.
And even went as far to ignore letters from her lawyer as well.
I even went so far as to hire a lawyer to demand payment, but that letter went unresponded to as well.
And now at this point in the video, we hear that Shop Trimmings items were actually on the bestseller page on the Francesca website, so they were clearly doing well, but she's receiving no payment. So she was actually really only left with an option to sue, but can't, and she's not really in that position to do so.
I feel like it's important to add that my items were all bestsellers on their website. And so I expected another purchase order, or at least that they benefited from our relationship. But at this point, 8 months later, my only real option is to sue, but I know that would cost me a lot of time and a lot of money that I just don't have as a small business owner.
So because of this, she feels like her only option now is to warn other business owners so no one else is put in a situation like this.
So I really thought the only thing that I could do at this point is to warn other small businesses about how unfortunate my experience with Francescas has been, and encourage you not to work with them no matter what.
And yeah, you can imagine, right, being a small business owner, being reached out to by this massive company that used to be worth $1 billion, they want to sell your product, you're going to get $67,000, obviously the inventory is $20,000 and any other costs as well, but it's a good payday, right? You're probably going to be really excited for this opportunity and could lead to further opportunities down the road, right? They might come back and work with you even more if the products sell well, but then you find yourself in a position like this where you're not getting paid, you're at least $20,000 short, you're not getting the $67,000 that you were promised. Like, it's a really shitty situation, and Francesca's, quite frankly, have a reputation of this. They have done it multiple times over now. And whilst we're actually on the topic of lawsuits, it seems like Francesca's is not a stranger to lawsuits, especially recently, right? Because I found this situation that's happened recently where Frankie by Francesca's, which I believe is like their child store that they have, which is called Frankie. I mean, the Francesca's website is not available in the UK. Even tried using a VPN, won't let me access the website for whatever reason, but there's articles talking about it, right? Frankie by Francesca's launches Frankie Sport collection for ages 7 to 14. Seems like it's their clothing line for children. Well, it seems like that part of the business has been in some bother too. Because as we can see by this small part on the business journals, which again, I can't read the full amount because you have to pay for it, which is fine. I would have done it to read the full article, but you also have to be in America. You have to have a zip code, an American address. Obviously, I don't have that, so I couldn't. But we can actually see here on Google as a part of the article here that says, a clothing shop at the Mall of America has closed following an August lawsuit alleging $32,000 in unpaid back rent. Frankie by Francesca's, an apparel boutique for girls, has closed at the Mall of America following an August eviction complaint alleging the retail owed $32,000 in unpaid back rent. So not only are they not paying these vendors, allegedly, they're also allegedly not paying for their rent at these stores. I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, it seems like it's only a matter of time that this company really does go bust and file for bankruptcy. I'm surprised it didn't happen earlier in the year. But yeah, I mean, it does feel like it's only really a matter of time. But they are still posting on social media like nothing happened. I mean, their Instagram page here, they've got posts, and as you can imagine, the comments are all saying, are y'all ever going to pay that lady her money? Y'all's karma is coming for sure. Give that lady her money. And just a bunch of comments like this, right? A bunch of people talking about this situation. Will they address it? I don't know. I feel like unless I missed something, they didn't publicly address it last time either. So maybe they're just going to ignore it and carry on selling the stuff and scamming people, allegedly. It's a really shitty situation, but I guess the more people that know about the situation, the better. Because the less small businesses that work with Francescas is definitely for the best, right? Because there's a high possibility you just won't get paid. But either way, that's all the information we have right now. Obviously, this most recent stuff is very new in terms of the videos being uploaded very recently, less than a day ago. So maybe we'll get some updates with this video already having nearly 2 million views. Maybe we'll get an update where they have been paid, hopefully, right? That's best case scenario. And yeah, maybe there'll be an update, maybe there won't be. I would love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below on everything that we spoke about in today's video. If you did enjoy, please leave a like on it, subscribe if you are new, and until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, goodbye.